do sci-fi. Busy daddies do sci-fi. Busy daddies do sci-fi. Busy daddies do sci-fi.
Waking up.
What's
wrong with my hands?
There's not a bowl of ice cream in them any longer.
We did. We
What's wrong with these hands?
That was a little bit more responsible than we usually do. Normally we're sitting here and we're clinking bowls and spoons.
I'm trying to control and enjoy it.
I think that's a solid idea. That reminds me.
Yes?
Today I was watching a behind-the-scenes video of Robert Downey Jr. talking to the entire cast and crew from Avengers Infinity War.
Yes.
And he holds up... Robert Downey Jr. is a sober gentleman.
Oh.
He holds up a glass and he says, "It is an honor to trudge this road of happy destiny with you." I thought that was kind of interesting.
Is that like a line that the Avengers use?
It's a line that the Avengers constantly use.
Is it?
Traction.
Yeah.
Anyway. Wow. What's going on?
That's weird.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
So, hey.
Hi.
I'm George.
I'm Adam.
No, you're
not.
You're not, though. He's not Adam.
No.
He's not.
But that's... Wow.
That would be a really, really depressing situation.
That informs a lot of what's going on here now.
Well, we know for a fact who we are. Go ahead, Kevin. No. You clearly had something really important to say instead of what was about to occur there.
Well, our co-host Adam, we lost him when he was doing covert activity.
You just got me, man. I completely forgot that Adam existed for a second there.
Well, who knows what happened to him unless this found footage that was mailed to us. Which we'll play one of these days when we have the courage to finally... It's all going to come around. George, kind of acting like you needed a couple more bites of ice cream tonight.
A few more, yeah. I'm not quite wakey yet. I need to either smell a marker or
I'll just take off my shoes.
Put my head in a sink full of ice.
Well, whatever that happy road of destiny is.
Happy road of destiny.
Yeah.
So Adam, those of our loyal, I mean beyond loyal, these would have to be fanatic listeners.
I would almost say shut-ins.
That's what the layman's know them as. Yeah. Shut-ins, big beards with lots of little pieces of lice growing in them that maybe every once in a while they pull out and eat in between old episodes of Busy Daddies do Sci-Fi.
I thought we had 4 listeners show up at our Parkside broadcast.
Right, when we did that one.
Bummer you did not. I didn't know you were going to mock the recording. And we didn't record anything. We had mics. You had taken the cables of the microphones and ran them behind the benches into the bushes.
Yeah, those weren't even microphones. Those were actually those were tin cans painted black.
Those were tin cans painted black. Hey, man.
What'd you expect? Those 4 guys all showed up in the same trailer.
I know. And was their tent just near where we set up, or did they set up the tent after?
I think they had been there a long time, actually.
Yeah.
And they kept asking where the hell Adam was. So I think they might have had something to do with our former co-host's disappearance. I shouldn't say former. Adam is still a viable part of this podcast. We just don't know where he is in time and space.
Yeah.
So, speaking of atoms, though, we are...
made of tiny particles.
Yes. ATOMS.
Not to be confused with Up and Atom.
Up and Atom.
Which is...
one of the best jokes
one
in
of the better parts of a speedball.
Oh,
yeah.
There we go. Back to that road of happy destiny.
Woo!
People trudging it. Who are we?
You tell us.
We're bots dangling detained sandy felons.
Which is syntactically hard to say.
That is like a murder title there.
Because
bots dangling
who
detained
is
sandy felons.
Detained? Is that an adjective? Bots detained. It's kind of like British poetry. On bots detained.
Is that your English accent?
No, it's my English phrasing.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Completely different.
On bots detained.
On bots detained, we sandy felons.
We dangled sandy felons.
Charge the beaches.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yes. Anyway, Sandy Felons, that guy, hell of a human being.
And he, hell of a hot check writer, too.
Yes. You've seen his checks up at cash registers all over Highland Park. You know, they've got a caricature of him.
That's how he sneaks up on him with that, like, not-so-masculine first name. Hell, a guy named Sandy wouldn't write a hot check.
Sandy wouldn't write a bad check, would he? Sandy Felons.
Bots dangling, detained, Sandy Felons.
Well, usually what we like to do with our name, Busy Dads Do Sci-Fi, BDDSF.
BDDSF.
We create some sort of a catchy little saying that goes along some way with what we're going to be talking about today. So bots, they're dangling, they're detained, it's Sandy, and there's some sort of felonious activity going on here.
Mm-hmm.
If
with
if anybody can figure out what we're talking about from just that description, get out of my head. Because there's no way that was clever enough for you to divine that we're going to be talking about a couple more of the short films by Neil Blomkamp's Oats Studios.
Yes.
We've done this before. We have talked about the Oats Studio shorts before. Neil Blomkamp, you probably know him best from District Niner, and fantastic movie, really good science fiction flick starring what the hell?
It doesn't matter.
I can't remember his name. He played Mad.
Is it Bobby Orkinface? No.
No, man. How could I not remember his name? He was in A-Team. He was in the Powers TV show. Mr. T. It was Mr. T. Yes. So Neil Blomkamp went out and made a few more of these shorts. The three we're talking about here are all called Adam. That's a 3-parter. They will probably be making more of these.
Seems like it.
Either that or it's another one of these. What the Oats Studio shorts kind of seem to be is, they work two ways, I think. You could take them as, like, these are pitches for movies.
That was Cynical George last episode.
Yes.
Yeah,
and I know that
was...
You've changed. Well, no. Because you could certainly look at them and go, wow, this is a trailer for what's going to be a cool movie. Or you could go, that's all I need. Which is, I believe, the stance that you took. And I do agree with that for the most part. And
it
once
takes
again,
a little time to sink in, doesn't it?
Little time, evolution.
It's a little chappy. It sinks in.
Evolution is a very slow and tedious process, Kevin.
Yes. Or fast, depending on if you're a meteoroid.
It's not fast.
Or a dinosaur. Or a butterfly.
Well, yeah, because they died very quickly, didn't they?
Or slowly, but.
The dinosaurs?
I can't do this with you, man.
Well, that comet, man, that was fast, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, 7,000 years ago, the dinosaurs were eliminated.
No, it was actually 5,500 because we needed the other 1,500 to get to the point where we're at right now.
Well, did it take 1,500 years to bury the bones?
Yeah.
To test the Christians?
Yeah. Who is it that buried those bones, Kevin?
Satan.
Indeed.
Old Nick.
What are we talking about again? Oh, yeah.
I don't know.
Adam.
Ice cream buzz. Coming at you.
ADAM, much like our former co-host. And these were awesome. These were, let's just throw it out there, man. These were really, really cool, well-made. You can find them all on YouTube. You just go to your youtube.com and punch in Oats Studios Adam. 3-part episodes. I love that immediately it comes up and it says rendered in real time by Unity, which I'm assuming is the software that
Unity, not that they're paying us to talk about this episode.
No, UNITY.
Yeah, .com in real time.
So, give us the world.
Okay. Well, first of all, this
it's a tricky one.
This would be really cool as a whole giant movie. What kind of world?
It's a tricky one to describe just from the way it's presented to us.
Well, we've got to a place where humanity has penalized people by taking their brain, their consciousness, and putting them in robot shells.
Real quick, sidebar. Is that made clear that is a specific punishment for crime? Or is it just like, we don't keep prisoners anymore? Prisoners just, you go in a robot body. That's it.
I assumed that you went to a robot body.
Yeah. We're not wasting food on you, 3 meals a day.
Right, which is, kind of smart.
Sure.
Like in a futurism way. We've talked about a punishment in Star Trek where was it Star Trek where the guy lived a 250-year sentence all in one episode?
All in one episode. It's
right.
Transmitted
and you just
into his
then
brain.
They wake you back up and you're like, oh!
It's transmitted into his brain in like a minute. And by the time they even realize what had gone wrong, sentence had already been carried out. Yeah.
Yeah, so you could you get placed into a robot and then probably, dig radioactive material. We don't really get into that because when these prisoners in robots get released, there is some kind of duo that comes off the desert, which makes the human guards back away from them, and he liberates these spirits in robot prisons, I guess, and they move on. So bleak, futuristic, and that's all I got to set the world up.
And this is broken down into 3 episodes. The first 2 are about 5 minutes each. The third is 9 minutes. I don't know if there will be more of these or if this is all like pushing towards a movie. In just that first episode, we're already kind of dealing with themes of like what is humanity? Because it's kind of apparent. We talked about this before the podcast. You can tell pretty much immediately as this robot is waking up and he's in prison that he knows he is not supposed to be a robot. Just the way he is going about, he seems to be ripping at his mechanical face, trying to take off what he assumes is a mask. He's looking at himself as though, like, how do I get these things off? This is all done without dialogue, and it's all done through motion capture and CGI that's really kind of beautiful. I had jokingly written down I want to play this game in our show notes, and that is because some of it reminded me of the like cutscene animation from a really good video game, and that is, it's not a knock against the movie. It's not incredible animation. There's nothing I can see. It's like it's rendered in real time, so you could see it's like it is what it is.
It held up when they were all robots. This duo that comes off the desert are clearly robots. But they've taken sort of an outsider thing. They're wearing garb and feathers and like almost shamanic looking. And,
like bandages wrapped around their hands, even like more of like a desert thing, carrying antennas, and one of them has got some sort of a technological magic thing going. They've all got what look like giant iPhones on their chests that have their sentencing, what they were convicted of, and he just waves his hand and wipes the data away.
Yeah.
We're not treated to a whole lot about what that's about, what their mission is, because by the third episode, we're introduced to a different element. We're introduced to sort of a more of the human side.
Well, and so that's when real quick, before you get to the human chapter, you have a person called the Mirror who can basically hold their hand up to you and they can tell you what your crime was. And I thought a little right on, but a little too right on, was the fact that this guy, our lead, Adam probably, was a terrorist.
Right, yeah.
An insurrectionist. And you quickly get into the gray area of, well, who decides what terror is? And is this guy a real criminal? Or is this some of those, this is how we all get rounded up because I Googled how to make LSD on George's computer.
You probably should have told me you did that.
No one really takes that seriously, do they?
Was it the one with the puppy dog on the back? Because that's my son's computer. And that might explain why I haven't seen him in a couple days.
You imagine how many times that's been Googled in the public library system.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah.
Some guy, listener, actually don't email us.
Don't email. Don't.
Yeah, don't. It shouldn't.
And if you work for any of the government agencies that we vastly respect.
We're clearly joking.
Fair use. Trudging, happy roads.
Yeah. Totally.
Yeah. So we're once again, as this story kind of unfolds again, we're treated to the human element of the story, and that is when I got really interested in it. We see that there's farming colonies, that this world has sort of two sides going. There's an insurrection side of it, and there's the consortium. And the consortium, you can take that for whatever it is. It's the government, it's the world leadership. They're very technology based, and then there's this group that's trying to rise up against them, and they are anti-technology, sort of religious, and just some cool character work done there.
So whatever done in real time with Unity is, that's when it looked like a video game.
That's when it looked.
I don't know why you wouldn't use a human actor, except that Oats Studios is experimenting with trying to pull things off. So
I was hoping when we saw in the first episode, when we saw the guards, I was hoping those were going to be actors. Like I felt like that would have added something to it to have human actors in costume.
And that's the video game leap where like you have the guy who's like, you can't see my face, but he's like, we got 3 out there, sir.
Yeah.
We need to get out there before. And you're like, it's the narrative.
Exactly.
For it. But it worked. It almost looked, the actor in the lead in the third short looked like a familiar actor.
Yeah, I felt like
maybe so they put a computer treatment on him to make him look a little different. But that one, their clothes were sort of Ripley like a video game. And for me, I had to ignore it to get the storyline.
Yeah.
That being said,
which was cool.
Who knows? So yes, at that point, there's a healer because it's bad out there, and you got to wear a mask, and you're still kind of rotting away from probably like heat and radioactivity and whatever the hell disease is going on. And
Earth is screwed. I mean, like it's a fucked up place.
Yeah.
Most cities have been destroyed.
It's like Fontana.
It's just like Fontana.
Fontucky.
Fontana.
I'm told they call it.
Place in California?
Yeah.
Oh, never been. What do they got there?
You got masks. You
got
to buy a mask.
Got to wear a mask and join a cult with a robotic, bald-headed
punchline.
He's a robot. Anyway.
So, anyways, this
go
robot,
look it up.
Yeah.
But
cool
what
stuff.
really stood out for me about these 3 shorts was within 20 minutes. We're delivered so much cool story. Neil Blomkamp, throughout all of these shorts, the writing is so consistently good. His ability to transmit really quick, good character development, despite like the whole, okay, he's a terrorist, what is that? When that came up and we find out that Adam's a terrorist, where I went with it was, oh, they're going to be able to use him. Like he's got experience with some level of like insurrection against the government, and that's going to help this entire robotic army.
And I said message
because totally
we know this man's made District 9, and
right, which could not have been more on the nose. I mean, it's a fantastic movie, but it is pretty much just like
right. Which is cool. That's his trip. Is Neil Blomkamp writing all these?
Yeah.
Like, do you watch the credits? Or is there like a think tank that's writing them too?
They were written by 4 different people. He is one of them.
Yeah. So, what I wanted to say is, do you think this is our co-host, Adam?
I would assume
locked away in another dimension.
I would assume that. Holy.
His wife probably would have asked us about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I mean, because the voicemails that I've gotten from him do sound kind of. Remember in the second episode when the woman's brother is trying to talk to her and it's like garbled through a microphone. Yeah.
Don't do it.
Don't. That's what my voicemails from Adam sound like.
Yeah.
Yeah, like he's kind of like trying to talk to me.
Well, remember he was selling He was selling Earth jeans and Marlboros.
Yeah.
out.
The ones we were sending.
Beyond the
with little notes
Kuiper
that said,
Belt.
"Hey, sell these."
Yeah. That probably... We shouldn't have done that.
Well, so somehow, some way, through the vastness of the universe, not only has Adam found himself trapped in a robot body, but Neil Blomkamp has decided to make it into a series of shorts.
Which, if you listen to our last episode, was all about quantum realities.
It was.
Yeah.
Wait. Which episode was that? Because
it's the one that they listened to 2 weeks ago, George.
2 weeks ago was our Last Man on Earth rerun.
No! Our Last Man on Earth. See? Do you see how tricky this quantum stuff can be?
See, universe is popping up all the time out of absolutely nowhere.
Yeah.
We don't even know what. I'll tell you, I started this podcast tonight with this guy named Kevin. I don't know who the hell's sitting next to me right now. This is how... Here's another thing. This was originally supposed to be...
No, that'll mess. If that'll change.
That'll change.
That's like leaving a wrench back in caveman times.
See, basically what I just did there was I invented a paradox. I stated something for an episode that we haven't recorded yet, and now the universe is doomed.
I don't think so.
Yeah, that's how it works.
As a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure if we review the lineage, I was referring to the episode that they would have already listened to.
No, but what I just made was a reference to
an episode that never
happened, but the episode that will happen is the one we're recording after we record this episode. Are you following me here, man?
You weren't supposed to say that.
It's all out there now.
Damn.
The government's got it.
Yep.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Well, now we have to watch Chappie, right?
I'm thinking, listener, if you can let us know, why do we think Chappie's a piece of shit? Is it because it's called Chappie?
Why did I see those trailers? And don't get me wrong, it didn't get great reviews. I love District 9, but I saw those trailers and I saw the guy from Diantword giving Chappie an inspirational speech about how he's got to fight for what he believes in, and then the Yolanda...
Which is like that thing from that movie Short 5.
Short 5, that's not what it's called.
That's something you order at IHOP, right? I'll take a short 5.
Give me a short 5. And I'll tell you right now, you skimp on the raspberry sauce, I'm going to beat the shit out of you.
With this robot arm of mine.
I need a short 5 with chocolate chips and 2 of them. Short Circuit.
Short Circuit with Johnny 5.
Johnny 5.
Yeah. Boy, those were the times.
I don't think you can talk about that movie anymore, man.
Without having someone beat you with a robot arm?
It had Fisher Stevens in it, in essentially blackface, as the Indian guy. So it's really like...
The curly-haired?
Fisher Stevens, he was married to some other celebrity, but white. That dude is whiter than white. He played the Indian guy in Short Circuit 1 and Short Circuit 2.
Yes.
And it's one of those things that just kind of got like ignored as like, well, that's not racist. And now it's just
I thought it was a craft.
Yeah. Now
it's a craft.
Now
We
it's
knew
just
what we
sort
needed
of
to
like,
do more thespians.
Well, it's actually pretty racist.
It's racist to say, you know what? We're going to make this white guy look like an Indian man?
Oh, kind of.
Why?
Why not?
Is it racist to make a white guy look like a fucking orc?
Yes.
It's
entirely,
not. It's
man.
orchist.
It's orchist.
Tra.
Well, the problem with the orcs is that they're so unorganized that no one will ever care.
What was but boy do they know, boy do they got 90s hip hop here going down. Whoo!
Are we doing a Bright reference now?
Bobby Orkenbright.
Bobby Orkenbright. No, it was Robert or Kenneth Orkenbright.
he and Sandy Fellins.
We're not even
going down, knocking down 7-Elevens.
We're not even talking about Adam anymore. We're off the reservation here. This is what happens when Sandy Fellins starts dangling with these detained bots.
Mm-hmm.
Madness.
Well, one thing about when you discuss, check those out. But when you discuss short films on a podcast, the podcast usually is shorter.
Oh.
Yeah.
Click.